Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm back with another update coming out from the war between Russia and Ukraine, and boy, do I have a lot of big news to share with all of you today. So, last night, Ukraine launched another massive UAV drone attack onto Russia, targeting multiple regions. We're going to start off talking about the region of Nizhny Novgorod, as we have another major oil refinery over here that was struck again last night. You can see in the video footage here, completely on fire. And the name of this oil refinery is so hard to pronounce. I believe it's Nizhgorod Neft Orgzentez. Okay, I'm probably completely butchering that, but I tried my best. There was a statement that was released last night from Ukraine's general staff. They stated units of the Defense Intelligence of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, in cooperation with other components of the defense forces, struck the Nizhny Novgorod oil refinery in Kostovo, Nizhny Novgorod Oblast of the Russian Federation on the night of January 29th, 2025. Okay, so they definitely attacked this thing very hard last night. This is yet again another major oil refinery. I believe this is the fourth largest oil refinery in Russia. I could even show you guys a map here where it's exactly located. So definitely a very large facility that was completely destroyed last night. And we have some reports that this oil refinery could potentially go offline, just like what we saw with the Ryazan oil refinery just last week. Okay, it was attacked multiple times. Eventually, we had that report. I think it was just on Monday or yesterday that they completely shut down. Okay, so we may see the same case here, as many people even on X were making jokes about the video that you're watching right here, that it almost looks like Mordor. If you guys ever watched the movie called The Lord of the Rings, you know about the fiery mountain, a very evil place called Mordor. I have to agree. I've seen the movies myself, and it does look like Mordor, so pretty crazy. We've also got some reports of drones entering other regions. Up in the Ver region, reports of the 23rd GRAU arsenal in the village of Oktyabrski. This is a village that has been attacked before, and this GRAU arsenal, which is like a weapons depot, has been destroyed once in the past. Ukraine struck this one, and then there's also another one called the Toropets, I think, GRAU arsenal. That's another one very close by to this one that I'll show you guys in just a little bit. Again, in the Ver region, apparently was attacked by over 20 UAV drones, and there was some sort of explosion there. Now, I don't have video footage coming out from there, but we had multiple reports on X indicating that it was attacked as well, okay? Then I've got lots of video footage of drones entering multiple regions like Smolensk, Oriel, Ver region. Looks like a lot of these drones were heading north of Ukraine, like Bryansk, Kursk area. Some were heading up near Moscow as well. And then also some reports coming out as of today on January 29th, 2025, that apparently Ukraine may have been launching some Storm Shadow missiles into Rostov. And I do have video footage during the day in Russia today that their air defense was active. That looks like it was trying to shoot down some incoming missiles. Okay, so much information that I want to dive into today and get into. So let's go ahead and hop right into this, guys. We're going to jump on over to a mainstream news article real quick from the Kiev Independent. Let's talk about this strike on this Nizhny Novgorod oil refinery. Okay, and it says here, drone strikes target multiple Russian regions, hit oil refinery in Nizhny Novgorod. Okay, this is coming out today, January 29th, 2025. Here's a picture of that oil refinery before it was attacked, okay? And as you can see in that video footage that we just saw a moment ago, completely on fire all over the place. So it looks like it definitely took massive hits and probably multiple drones striking this thing. And it says here, latest 4 out of 4 Russian Lukoil oil refinery struck by multiple Ukrainian drones, military intelligence source claims. Okay, so what this is talking about is, as far as I know, the Russian oil company called Lukoil, this one right here. Okay, Lukoil owns, I believe, 4 oil refineries inside of Russia, and Ukrainian intelligence is claiming that they've attacked all 4 already, okay, since the start of this war, is kind of what that's stating. Ukraine launched waves of drone attacks targeting oil and power facilities in western parts of Russia overnight on January 29th, according to local officials. Drone strikes were reported across several Russian regions, including the Nizhny Novgorod, Smolensk, Ver, and Bryansk regions, causing fires and prompting air defense responses. The Kiev Independent can't immediately verify the reports. While there were no reported casualties, an oil refinery in the city of Kostovo, Nizhny Novgorod sustained significant damage. Local telegram channels reported that drones targeted the Lukoil. Again, I'm going to struggle with this name. It's such a long name. Nizhgorod Neft Orgzentez oil refinery, resulting in a large fire. Video footage circulating online showed flames at the facility, which local monitoring channels identified as the likely target of the attack. Governor Gleb Nikitin confirmed that air defense systems had shot down multiple drones and fragments from the intercepted UAVs fell on the industrial site. No injuries were reported. Okay, so once again, reports that UAV debris is causing these fires. Okay, they always state this every single time. In the Smolensk region, Governor Vasily Anokin reported a massive drone attack on civilian infrastructure. One drone was intercepted while attempting to strike a nuclear energy facility nearby. Air defenses also destroyed several drones around the town of Andriupol, if I'm saying that right, home to approximately 8,000 people in the Ver region, according to the local governor. So yeah, apparently some sources in Russia were indicating that Ukraine was trying to attack a nuclear energy facility. We can't completely confirm that, but lots of Russian sources like this governor here stating that. Just wanted to note that. I think I have another post on X in a little bit that might talk about that, I believe. The Russian Ministry of Defense also announced that air defense systems had shot down 26 drones in the Bryansk region. Bryansk lies west of embattled Kursk Oblast, north of Ukraine's Cherniv and Sumy Oblast, and east of the Belarusian border. Despite the scale of attacks, no injuries or damage were reported in the area. All right, so as we can see, lots of regions last night being attacked inside of Russia. And looks like Ukraine was mostly going after like this oil refinery and then some power facilities inside of Russia as well. Okay, so all right, now we're going to hop into a map and let me show you guys exactly where this facility is located. So we're going to jump on over to Google Maps here just for a moment. So this facility is approximately about 800 kilometers away from the border of Ukraine. So Ukrainian territory is down here. We've got Russian territory up here. Here's Moscow. So just a little bit to the east of Moscow in the Moscow region, we have the region of Nizhny Novgorod. Okay, so right here. So right about the central portion of it, we'll zoom in. And right over here, we have the city of Nizhny Novgorod. You can see it's a massive sized city. Just a little bit southeast of that, we have the town of Kostovo. Okay, so right southwest of Kostovo, down here is where the Nizhny Novgorod oil refinery is located. Okay, so you can see definitely a massive facility. It's got lots of these oil storage tanks here also, and a bunch of them over here as well. So we can see why there was such a massive fire over here. There's probably a bunch of these that were exploding after these UAV drone attacks. And I believe there was multiple drones striking this facility. I'm pretty sure it wasn't just one. There was probably dozens and dozens of drones that were entering into this area, and many of them were clearly not shot down, as in the video footage we could see there was a massive blaze over here. Okay, so just want to let you guys know exactly where it's located at. Again, just a little bit southwest of Kostovo and also southeast of Nizhny Novgorod. Okay, so about right in the central portion of that oblast. And again, approximately about 800 kilometers from the border of Ukraine. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump in to X now, and I've got lots of video footage to show you guys over here. So we'll start off with this first video with some sound showing what we had for you on the waiting screen when you came in. So this is from Igor Sushko. Russia giant oil refinery struck by Ukrainian drones in Kostovo, Nizhny Novgorod region. It had a refining capacity of 17 million tons per year, accounting for over 6% of Russia's total refining output. Lukoil Nizhgorod Neft Orgzentez is located 800 kilometers from Ukraine. Okay, so take a look at that, guys. 6% of Russia's total refining output. The Ryazan oil refinery that was shut down just the other day from repeated drone attacks on the 24th and the 26th, that one was 5%. Okay, so in total, both of these, about 10% of Russia's total refining output. So imagine if they continuously keep striking all these oil refineries. If Russia doesn't have refineries to purify this crude oil, turn it into fuel or whatever might be, then, you know, obviously they're not going to be making money in their nation, and they're not going to be able to transport oil around the world. So this is very big that Ukraine is doing this. Okay, 17 million tons per year. So take a look at this video real quick, about 18 seconds long with sound. All right, we can definitely see a lot of fire coming from this facility, indicating that it was probably hit multiple times in different areas. Looks like there might even be a fire over here to the left. And comparing this video footage to what we saw with Ryazan, the oil refinery over there just last week, this one looks like it got hit much harder. I mean, the fire coming from here is much more intense than what we saw with Ryazan. So pretty insane video footage there. We're going to jump on over to another update now from Max24 Hell, and he's got a bunch of fire emotes, and it says Nizhgorod Neft Orgzentez, formerly the fourth largest refinery in Russia by production volume. Okay, so take a look at this video, guys. 8 seconds long. All right, so we got so many different angles to show you of the fire coming from this facility. This looks like mainly just one fire here in the beginning. This could have been right when it initially got struck. Maybe got hit soon after that as well. So let's go ahead and jump into another update here. Also from Jason J. Smart, the fire at the oil refinery in Kostovo, Russia grows stronger. Okay, here's another video as well, just 5 seconds long. Take a look at this as well. All right, just a quick clip showing the fire here and lots of smoke coming from this oil refinery. Okay, so definitely took some massive hits here. We got more pictures and videos coming out now from Max24. Kostovo, Russia, Bavovna. And Bavovna means like explosion. It actually means cotton, but the Ukrainians use this word as explosion. So we got a quick video here and then a few other pictures we can show you also. So let's jump into this. All right, just another short clip showing a massive fire here at the very center portion of this facility. We can see a lot of smoke coming from here as well. So this place is probably going to be burning for a little while now. And, we keep hearing from some sources as well that this place may be shut down soon. Okay, there's a high possibility, considering how bad this attack was, that they will probably have to suspend operations at least for a short time. So let's jump into some other photos here. Here's more pictures coming out from this oil refinery showing it on fire completely. Okay, look at this one too. Looks like the fire was much stronger in this photo. So it probably started out kind of small and then it got larger and larger. Maybe we had a bunch of oil storage tanks that were destroyed as well. There's another photo for you guys. Now jumping over to Max24 once again. Debris, debris, debris. So here's a report that came from Telegram, and it says the debris of the downed UAV fell on the territory of an enterprise in the Kostovskaya industrial zone of the Nizhny Novgorod region. Firefighters are extinguishing the fire, the governor reported. There were no casualties from falling debris. Okay, so here's just another report, once again, indicating that this was falling debris. And again, we know anytime they say falling debris, it means that most likely this facility was battered multiple times by drones. We've just been seeing this repeatedly. Okay, Ukraine is getting more and more effective with these drones. And a report that I showed you guys over the last few days was that Ukrainian drones, the Lyudy drones, are hitting like a 50% success rate now, and they were much lower than that. It could have been like 10 to 20% many times, depending on the areas that may have been heavily controlled by air defense inside of Russia. Now we're seeing like a 50% or even sometimes more in some areas of Russia where these drones are actually hitting their targets. Okay, so Ukraine is getting more accurate and more successful with these drone attacks. Okay, now from NOAA reports, according to Russian media today, the 23rd GRAU arsenal in the village of Oktyabrski in the Ver region was hit by drones. Over 20 UAVs targeted the ammunition depot and nearby military base, causing damage to buildings. The attack also hit the Andreapol oil pumping station, causing a fire. Okay, so we've actually talked about this 23rd GRAU arsenal once in the past. There's this one, then there's a much larger one just north of here in the Ver region as well. And both of these have been attacked in the past, and we've shown some massive explosions over here when these things were attacked by drones. So it looks like Ukraine went after this facility once again last night, but unfortunately at this time I don't have any confirmed video footage showing any secondary explosions or anything like that coming out from this area. But we do know that drones were entering the Ver region, as I do have video footage of that here in just a little bit. Now from Ozent Yuri, routes of Ukrainian UAVs tonight, courtesy of Drone Bomber. And he says, please repost to help defeat X's anti-Ukraine algorithm. Okay, so we've got a little picture here of a map showing all the different directions these drones were heading. So you can see majority of them were kind of heading north up here, like Smolensk, Kaluga, Tula, Oriel, Bryansk. Okay, some into Kursk over here. The Ver Oblast saw a lot of drones last night. And then here's the ones in Nizhny Novgorod where that oil refinery is located. And then even some up here near Kazan. I think this is the Samara region. Also, some drones were heading that direction. Okay, even Voronezh and kind of heading east over here towards Saratov. So it's pretty much just everywhere inside of Russia. Anywhere in Western Russia last night, they were seeing drone attacks repeatedly. Okay. Now jumping over to Max 2024, we've got a report here that says Ver, and we've got a video that's about 40 seconds long, and you can hear a lot of drones coming into the Ver region, which is where this 23rd GRAU arsenal was located. So take a look at this.
О, вот и рака пошла. Надо, что не повезло. Отогнали, отогнали. О, вот и рака.
All right, we can see lots of gunfire here and these tracer rounds heading up into the skies, trying to bring down these incoming Ukrainian drones. So as far as I know, a lot of them were attacking the Ver region, at least 20 or more last night, okay? So jumping on over to War Translated Dmitry, locals report a large number of buzzing UFOs spotted over the city of Lipny in the Oriel region of Russia. The target of the attack could be the local oil refinery. This is not the first time drones have been observed in the city. Throughout 2024, drones have repeatedly flown over and struck various targets. Okay, so you're going to see a drone flying over somebody's head here in just a moment in the Oriel region. So take a look at this.
Вот опять где-то летит. Где-то со спиртзавода хуярит. Или с Беломеста. Со старого моста откуда-то летит. И тут раз оттуда летел. Вот, где-то идет, где-то уже близко. О, где-то здесь вообще уже над нами. Ой. Вот он, ёпта. Ебать он какой, да ну нахуй. Ебать, как самолет, нахуй, ебать. Опять полетел туда. Ёпта, ты такой нахуй. Это уже пятый, ёпта. Это уже пятый. 3 дома и 2 на улице. Глянь, я его заснял вообще четко. Вот опять.
All right, so it looks like some residents of this region were able to capture one of these Liudi drones, what it looks like to me coming in to the Oriel region. There you can see it right there when we fast forward a little bit for you guys to show you that incoming drone. Okay, so we did have drones coming into this region last night. If you notice too, they were talking about like a distillery, so there could have been a distillery that could have been targeted there. And also we have a major oil refinery or oil depot, excuse me, in the Oriel region. Also, we just talked about that one getting hit not too long ago. So that could have been the target as well, but don't have any confirmation of that just as of yet. Now from NOAA reports, Ukrainian drones are already flying in the Smolensk region. Okay, so if you can see here, this was reported yesterday at about 11:46 a.m. my time, Pacific Standard Time in the United States. So this would have been like into the early evening inside of Russia. Okay, so Smolensk region, we got drones flying over here as well. So it looks like it was starting out pretty early. All right, so can't see a whole lot in this video, but we can hear what appears to be some sort of drone in the background over here in the Smolensk region. Okay, so lots of evidence coming out that these drones were entering multiple regions last night. Now from Anton Gerashenko, Russian Defense Ministry confirmed that a Ukrainian drone was destroyed over Murmansk region of Russia today. This is the first time they admitted a drone reached Murmansk region. It is almost 2,000 kilometers from the Ukrainian border. Ukrainian drones fly farther and farther. Okay, so looks like we had another report, looks like on Telegram. And yeah, so the Murmansk region, I want to say that Ukraine has attacked this region before. And yes, 2,000 kilometers away. And Ukraine definitely has the ability to attack 2,000 kilometers or further. Many of their drones do have that capability. So it looks like we had a report here of drones entering that far into Russia. Okay. Now for Max 24, we'll talk a little bit about these attacks in the Rostov region, potentially with Storm Shadow. Okay, so here's some more reports from Russian soldiers on Telegram. It's this LDNR Zaporozhye region of the Russian Federation. Aviation alert: storm launches are possible. Rostov region, Krasnodar Krai. Attention to aviation storm launches are possible from 7 planes in the air to Donetsk and the surrounding areas. The team includes storm carriers. Okay, so they're talking a lot about the Storm Shadow missile here. RSCHS, attention throughout the Belgorod region, missile hazard, go down to the basement or underground space. Okay, so potentially it looks like we did have some Storm Shadow missiles or some sort of missiles, could have been Neptune as well, entering into the Rostov region, which is like southwestern Russia, close to the border of Ukraine. And I have a video coming out here. This was, again, just today, okay? This was not last night. This was today on January 29th, 2025. This is from Max 24. It says Rostov. We've got a video here of Russian air defense shooting an interceptor up into the skies, most likely trying to bring down a possible incoming missile. So take a look at this. All right, so as we can see, the Ukrainian military has been very busy over the last 12 hours or so, launching these major UAV drone attacks inside Russia. Now, during the day, even targeting them with potential missiles is what it looks like here. So if I get confirmation that Storm Shadow was used in the Rostov region, I'll let you guys know, but I don't know for sure yet, okay? So now from War Translated Dmitry, Russian radicals who were cheering during the treacherous invasion of Ukraine by a vastly superior Russian army are now 3 years into the war seriously complaining that Zelensky sends drones to strike Russian oil refineries and a nuclear power plant. This Strelkov level cope, is now pouring out from every corner. It's clear they're losing control over themselves and their emotions, even criticizing the authorities for attempting to blame the damage on fallen debris. Reading this is truly priceless. Okay, so looks like we've got a post here that was on Telegram also. Notably, last night, Zelensky stated the Supreme Commander's every move is aimed at making the war endless, and that that very night, he sent drones to strike an oil refinery and a nuclear power plant. Okay, so see, they're talking about that once again, that a nuclear power plant reportedly came under attack. Lies from Zelensky are nothing new and hardly surprising, but when nearing the end of the war's 3rd year, yet another governor stands in front of a burning refinery talking about fallen debris, it is surprising. Looks like a voluntary self-sabotage of authority in favor of following outdated directives from the first year of the war. Debris that magically reached its target suggests successful air defense operations in the region, assistance from refinery management, and supplying nearby air defense units, and no need to expand the legal framework allowing private security firms or the National Guard to use weapons and equipment for refinery defense. And if it's just debris, then nothing needs to be done. Yet another refinery in flames struck by a flying bookcase suggests otherwise. Kind of a funny statement here. But let me know what you think, guys. Do you guys think this was debris striking this facility, or do you think these were actual hits from these Ukrainian drones? I mean, we have seen lots of video footage, just like the Ryazan oil refinery when it was attacked and bursted into flames. Just in the last week, we actually had video footage of that thing being pounded with drones while it was already on fire. So let me know what you think down below in the comment section regarding that. Now for More Translated Dmitry, Australian volunteer Oscar Jenkins, who fought on the side of Ukraine and was considered dead, is alive and held in Russian captivity. Australian Foreign Minister Penny Wong stated that Russia must treat him according to international humanitarian law. Oscar Jenkins is alive and in custody. We remain greatly concerned about his fate as a prisoner of war, said Wong. She added that Australia has clearly emphasized to Russia that Jenkins is a prisoner and that Russia must treat him according to international humanitarian law. The Australian government also called on Russia to release Jenkins. Okay, so it looks like we had an Australian volunteer fighting on behalf of Ukraine, and it looks like he was captured. There was some reports, I think it was like late last week, that he may have been killed. And then there was even some top officials out of Australia telling Russia, hey, if you guys end up killing him, if he is captured, we're going to retaliate basically against Russia. So looks like they have some information that maybe this man actually is captured and held in custody right now by the Russian military, and they're warning the Russian military also to treat him with respect under the international humanitarian law, and hopefully they don't execute him. We'll see what happens, but we've been seeing a lot of that with Ukrainian soldiers being killed. Okay, so also for Max 24, Finland has developed an anti-personnel drone at Steel Eagle for Ukraine. A charge contains explosives and shoots steel and tungsten bullets. The bullets are capable of piercing the roof of conventional or lightly armored vehicle from a height of several dozen meters. Thought this was pretty crazy. I mean, the different types of drones that are coming out for Ukraine now is just absolutely insane. There's just so many different types. There's the Baba Yagas. There's some that can even carry bazooka launchers. We've seen some carrying AKs. Like, they're testing all kinds of different weaponry on these drones, and it looks like they got one now from Finland that can fire some bullets. Okay, so it looks like steel and tungsten bullets, and it says here it can pierce the roof of like a vehicle or something. So that's pretty crazy that now we've got even aerial drones that could fire bullets. So pretty nuts, guys. Now from Noel reports, Ukraine will soon begin consultations with the U.S. in restoring U.S. aid funding. It says Deputy Head of the Presidential Office, Erna Vereshchuk. Okay, so this actually came out yesterday. You can see here January 28th. So I reported to you guys, I think it was yesterday, the day before, I can't remember, but I let you guys know that a lot of foreign aid was cut off from Trump. He signed like some sort of executive order and pretty much cut off a lot of foreign aid, at least for right now, temporarily. And apparently a lot of humanitarian aid organizations that work inside of Ukraine to help out, any people that might be harmed in these attacks or anything like that. A lot of these missions are cut off from funding from the United States. So it looks like the presidential office, or the head of the presidential office for U.S. aid funding, she's trying to get back in and get this thing restored and get the money flowing back into Ukraine. Okay. So now from Anton Gerashenko, Russian Telegram channels report that Ramzan Kadyrov has not appeared in public for 18 days. Kadyrov said he attended a public event on January 8th, but gave no details. On January 26th, Kadyrov reportedly attended a rehearsal of a folklore ensemble. However, he was sitting in an empty audience. So according to some media, it was filmed in advance. Okay, so right now there's a lot of talk about Ramzan Kadyrov, that he's been missing in public recently for several weeks now. Some people are even saying that maybe he had some health issues. There has been a lot of talk about him in the recent past, like the last 6 months or so, talking about the fact that he may be sick or something like that. So, we've seen this multiple times where a lot of like top Russian officials are missing for some time and then all of a sudden they come back. So I'm thinking that he'll probably just return at some point soon, but who knows? He apparently has been missing for a short time, and there was a video here that was shared, but we're not going to watch it. It's basically just him sitting in this audience over here by himself while he's watching a rehearsal of a folklore ensemble, okay? So now moving on to another update from Anton Gerashenko. Putin made a number of statements yesterday. Some of them are listed below. But essentially, he said that Ukraine needs not to be a participant in the negotiations, and our fates will be decided by others. So here's a few other things he stated here. It says that's what Putin wants, to make Ukraine a failed state that has no say. He is deluded. If he is allowed to win, he will move on and to try and prove other states are illegitimate. Putin must be stopped, and lasting peace must be established. Any other scenarios are too dangerous. So here's what Putin said. Zelensky can participate in the negotiations, but due to his illegitimacy, he cannot sign any documents. Ukraine should have simply withdrawn from Donetsk and Luhansk regions after February 24th. Then there would have been no war. Negotiations between Moscow and Kiev will be illegitimate if conducted now. We should find a way to cancel the previously signed decree. Ukraine's sovereignty is almost zero. So it looks to me like Vladimir Putin is most likely not going to want to negotiate directly with Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine. And we've kind of been seeing this, like we're already seeing, Putin come out and say that he kind of wants to directly negotiate with President Trump from the United States, not necessarily through Ukraine directly, or at least with Volodymyr Zelensky. So go ahead and take a look at this clip here of him being interviewed in the car. It's just like 30 seconds long.
Переговоры, собственно, у нас начались сразу же после начала СВО. Изначально мы сказали украинскому руководству тогдашнему, люди в ЛНР и ЛДНР не хотят быть в составе Украины. Уходите оттуда, и все. На этом все закончится. Никаких боевых действий, никакой войны нет. Будем воевать. Но, тем не менее, на переговоры сразу же согласились. Это было еще в конце февраля.
Okay, so to me here, it seems like he's kind of talking about whenever Russia originally went into Ukraine and some of the regions that they're currently controlling right now, at least parts of them, like Luhansk and Donetsk. That maybe some of the people there didn't want to be a part of Ukraine; they want to be a part of Russia. And he's initially just saying that, hey, if the Ukrainian military just kind of pulled away and didn't engage with us, there wouldn't be any war. But at the same time, their land was invaded, which makes sense why Ukraine would feel like they need to go to war with Russia to defend their nation. And that's exactly what's been going on for multiple years now, okay? So now for more translated Dmitry, anonymous sources cited by Axios report that the U.S. military has transferred 90 Patriot interceptor missiles from Israel to Poland, from where they will be delivered to Ukraine. Okay, this was a big report that actually started to come out yesterday, that apparently 90 of the Patriot interceptor missiles have come from Israel to Poland. And I believe there was a bunch of these Patriot missile systems that were also being decommissioned inside of Israel. So it's possible they could be going to Ukraine very soon. That could be very big, as Ukraine has been calling for these recently. All right, now from Anton Gerashenko, at least 11 Volganev type tankers go to sea in violation of rules to supply Russia's shadow fleet, says Important Stories. Port data shows that the sunken Volganevs were not the only tankers of this type that went to sea in violation of operating rules. At least 11 tankers went to sea in 2024 and January 2025, despite not being allowed under classification certificates. In 2024, already after the accident, 7 of these tankers traveled the same route as the sunken Volganev tankers. A day after the accident, the Volganev 141 offloaded more than 4,000 tons of fuel oil onto a storage tanker at the port of Kavkaz, despite a ban on going to the open sea. iStory studied port documents and came to the conclusion that most of the oil products from Volganev-type tankers were destined for the shadow tanker fleet of Russia during 2024 and January 2025. They made almost 200 voyages from Rostov-on-Don to the Kavkaz port and delivered 800,000 tons of oil products to the storage tankers. More than 80% of them were unloaded onto sea tankers flying the flags of foreign countries. These are the Fern, Triumph, NS Silver, and Koatliku, if I'm saying that right, tankers. Russian shadow fleet is an environmental catastrophe waiting to happen. The consequences can be utterly devastating. Okay, so we continuously hear about this, that a lot of these tankers are not, fit to be sailing. Many of them, maybe even sailing illegally without the proper, classification certificates, like what's being stated here. So this is definitely, I have to agree. Okay, it's a catastrophe that's waiting to happen. And these tankers, many of them are very old. They're rusted out, falling apart, and we've already been seeing some sinking and spilling oil all over the place, primarily in the Black Sea. So definitely more indication here that these oil tankers that Russia is using are very dangerous for the environment around the world, okay? Now from David D, Rubio wants to crush Russia. Good. Okay, so we got a new report here that came out today. It says Rubio and Callas agreed on maximum pressure on Russia. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Kaja Kallas discussed new anti-Russian sanctions. Okay, so apparently, the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and the Vice President of the European Commission Kaja Kallas got together and discussed new anti-Russian sanctions. And it looks like they're going to be putting major sanctions on Russia very soon. We continuously keep hearing that. And, we're even hearing from the Trump administration that they might put some major sanctions, tariffs, taxes, whatever might be onto Russia to kind of force them to the negotiation table with Ukraine. We'll see how that turns out here very soon. Now from Bliskovka, in Ukrainian city of Kupiansk, Russian Federation attacked an ambulance with ammunition based on an FPV drone. Regional Military Administration reports 3 medical workers were injured. Another civilian vehicle was also damaged. Okay, so if you guys remember, I believe it was yesterday, I showed you guys a picture of some new vehicles that were coming from the UK over to Ukraine, and many of them were actually these emergency vehicles, okay, the ambulances. And this is exactly what I've been talking about, that a lot of these ambulances get destroyed due to attacks because a lot of times, these ambulances will respond to these events, whether it's a missile attack or drone attack. And then soon after, we even see double tap strikes sometimes. So once again, now in the city of Kupiansk, okay, we have an ambulance that was attacked with an FPV drone. Pretty insane that Russia would be doing that, targeting a civilian infrastructure here, and literally just an ambulance, okay? Somebody probably trying to respond to help someone out. Now from Bliskovka, footage of what Chasiv Yar looks like after the Russian bombing as seen through a drone lens has appeared online. Okay, so new photo that came out today showing Chasiv Yar on the eastern side of Ukraine. I believe this is in the Donetsk region, completely destroyed. Okay, and I believe this town should have had at least 13,000 people that lived here. And now you can see as Russia continues to close in on Ukraine, this is what it looks like as these battles take place. Okay, completely decimating these cities. We've seen this repeatedly time and time again. Now, an update from War Translated Dmitry. The Ministry of Defense of Britain has published satellite images of the oil depot at the Russian airfield Angles 2 in the Saratov region after successful attacks by the Ukrainian armed forces and the resulting intense fires. This object has been hit several times on January 8th and 14th. Analysts of the images showed that 4 fuel and lubricant tanks were destroyed and another 10 were damaged. Repeated strikes indicate Ukraine's increased ability to hit Russian infrastructure targets, wrote British intelligence, showing how many tanks remain to be targeted. Okay, so this is the Commandant Kristall oil depot that we talked about just about a week or so ago, as it was attacked multiple times in the Saratov region, and this is being used to supply for the Angles airfield, which houses Russia's strategic bomber fleet, okay? And this is where a lot of the oil is stored at and fuel. So we had this actual facility being targeted multiple times, and we've got some new satellite imagery showing the damage here at this facility. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 in total that were either damaged or destroyed of these oil tanks, okay, and fuel storage tanks. So that's a new update coming out there regarding that oil depot. Now from Anton Gerashenko, a Russian woman says she thinks positively of Putin, believing that he has gathered the remnants of the Soviet Union. To survive with her pension, she has to go through garbage containers. This is the paradoxical thinking of many Russians. They praise Putin for his geopolitical successes while living in poverty. They don't notice any discrepancies in this. Very popular saying in Russia goes, we never lived well, and no point in starting to live well now. So it's pretty crazy to think about this, right? I mean, Russia's spending so much money on this war, yet we have people like this poor woman who doesn't believe that, that the Russian authorities have anything to do with the way she's living. And, all this money being spent on the war could be helping out the poor citizens of Russia. And just a 30-second clip of her talking about this. Take a look at this.
Расскажите, вот как вы относитесь к Владимиру Владимировичу Путину?
Очень положительно. Хоть один умный, хоть что-то собрал остатки от Советского Союза.
Расскажите, сколько у вас пенсия?
14,5 тысяч.
А сколько у вас зарплата?
11,5 зимой с отоплением.
На что этого хватает?
Мне этого хватает на кофе и на сигареты. То, что я собираю, я сдаю. Вот на это я не ем отбросы, но я копейки сдаю, то есть это на питание.
Расскажите, вот как вы относитесь?
All right, so we definitely do see a lot of video footage like this coming out from Russia. A lot of the citizens appear to praise Putin, while at the same time they're living in filth and they're, under conditions that would not be the most pleasant, right? She's talking about here how she really doesn't have any money. She barely has even enough to buy coffee and cigarettes. But if it was me, I think cigarettes would probably be the last thing I'd be buying if I was completely flat broke. But that's her decision. All right, also from OSINT Technical, Ukrainian Air Force MiG-29 Fulcrum recovering to its airbase after a mission in western Ukraine. Okay, so new video footage of a MiG-29 from the Ukrainian Air Force, and I want to show you guys this pretty cool video, just 5 seconds long. Take a look at this. All right, it's not often we get to see a whole lot of video footage of the Ukrainian Air Force, so that's why I wanted to pull this up and show this to you guys, especially the F-16s. We don't get to see a whole lot of action with those. It's, they're probably trying to protect them as much as possible and not put too much video footage out there regarding those. But this was a MiG-29 that was landing in western Ukraine just recently, okay? Now, I want to show you guys something real quick. This is actually not regarding the war in Ukraine, but this was a crazy video that came out yesterday. I just want to squeeze this in towards the end before we wrap this up. This is from ViceGrad24 breaking. An F-35 has crashed in Alaska. Okay, so this is an American F-35 fighter jet, supposedly one of the most advanced fighter jets in the world, and ended up crashing over here inside of Alaska. So I don't know 100% if the pilot survived. I believe he did, because I want to say I saw a clip of the video where you could actually see the pilot in the background, and he had his parachute deployed. So I believe he did eject, but this F-35 did crash over here on the ground and explode. Take a look at this. All right, pretty insane footage here, and this is not the first time we've seen these F-35s crashing. There was literally just one that crashed, I believe, I want to say in California not too long ago. It crashed near like a highway somewhere, so I'm not sure what's going on with these F-35s, but, you know, we've kind of heard some talk about these, that they're not as great as they're talked about, that, you know, they're not even as advanced as they should be. Some people even call these paperweights, and they're very expensive. The whole project behind the F-35 is pretty insane. So that was a new video that came out today that I wanted to share with you guys, or actually yesterday, excuse me. All right, so a couple of things left that I want to share with you before we get you out of here. From Charlie, Ukrainian air defense shot down 29 out of 57 Shahed UAVs, 14 drones suppressed by electronic warfare. Okay, so not too many drones entering into Ukraine last night, a lot less than normal. Just yesterday and the day before, I think we had 100 or more consistently heading into Ukraine, but looks like only 57 last night. It looks like Ukraine was able to bring down a good majority of these. Finally, one last thing to share with you from the Kyiv Independent. These are the indicative estimates of Russia's combat losses as of January 29th, according to the Armed Forces of Ukraine. All right, and our final update of the day, Russia's losses as of January 29th, according to Ukrainian intelligence, 1,670 troops, 24 AFVs, 97 vehicles and fuel tanks, 10 tanks, 29 artillery systems, 57 UAVs, 1 MLRS, 1 cruise missile, and 3 special equipment being destroyed on the Russian side. Okay, so looks like lots of troop losses, getting closer back to 2,000 once again, and quite a bit of vehicles too. Almost 100 vehicles and fuel tanks were destroyed last night, and even the tank numbers are up a little bit higher. Lately, they've been around 2 to 5. Looks like upwards of 10 now. Okay, so lots of equipment destroyed from the Russian military, and this absolutely massive hit once again on this oil refinery. And I'm very curious to see what the effects are going to be from this strike. And don't be surprised in the next 24 or 48 hours, we hear this same oil refinery being attacked again. And I think what Ukraine is trying to do here is double tap these oil refineries and punch them into submission to the point where they can no longer operate. And clearly that's the objective all around, right? But with the oil refineries, we've been seeing that a lot recently. So expect that coming in the next 24 to 48 hours, probably another major strike on this facility. But let me know what you guys think about all these details down below. That's going to be it for today's update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. With that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.